Biblical righteousness. Let's get rid of some of this. Okay, and then let's move this over because I don't want you to lose this. Okay, biblical righteousness. Righteousness, right? What does it mean? It means so that possess sin must die. Say, how in the world is that biblical righteousness? That's what he's demonstrating. That's what the demonstration is all about. How do I know that? Go back to the passage. Look at the whole passage now. Don't just focus on this demonstration. Come back up here. There is a righteousness that comes only from God. That means this righteousness is God's righteousness, not yours, not mine, not the angels. In order for you to possess that, you must be equal with God. That means you can never possess it unless God himself turns around and give it to you. The law and the prophets are witnesses to that. How do we know that? Because the law tells you the penalty for breaking it. What's the penalty for adultery? Death. What's the penalty for fornication? Death. What's the penalty for idolatry? Death. What's the penalty for not honoring your mother and your father, cursing your parents? Death, according to the law. What does the prophet say about that same scenario? The soul that sin must die. Mhm. Moses was a prophet. He wrote Genesis. Where did the first condemnation, where did it come in? It came from the Ten Commandments? No, man. It came back in Genesis. The day you eat of this fruit, the day you sin, you shall surely what? Die. So that's the witness. So if you come back up here, here it is. For there is no difference. What's no difference? All have sinned. So what is this entire passage talking about? Redemption from what? Redemption from you being a sinner and falling short. A propitiation for what? A payment for you being a sinner and coming short of God, of the glory of God. That's what the whole passage is about. That's nothing to do with specific behaviors. It has everything to do with whether you are a sinner or not. Okay, now that we understand that, let's go back and look at this. So, when we look at Jesus, the man, had no sin. Okay? So, could Jesus die? Would God be righteous in punishing Jesus since he was innocent of sin? Remember what he told the Pharisees? Which of you can convict me of any kind of sin? Today, they can convict Kevin of sin all day long. But Jesus had no sin, separate from sinners, holy and harmless. So, if Jesus died, would God be righteous to kill him? No. What about him? He is called the father of sin. Would God be righteous to kill Satan? Yes. Why? Because he has sin. What about Kevin? I've sinned. Would God be righteous? Would he be righteous to kill? The answer is yes. To kill him. The answer is yes. Here, the answer is no. Got it? So God would be righteous to kill Satan. God would be righteous to kill Kevin. Why? Because both of us have sinned. God would not be righteous to kill Jesus because Jesus had no sin. Why? Because the law says only sinners die. So if you wonder why people die today, they don't die from cancer. They don't die from accidents. They don't die from drug overdose. They don't die from some fatal disease. The only people who die, whether you are newly conceived in the womb and you're stillborn, or you come out and you die 10 minutes later, or you reach, I don't know, the oldest person, I think Methuselah was 950, 60 something years old, whatever it was. Why do people die? The only people who die are people who have sin. Do you want to know how I know that you are a sinner? Because you can die. The only people that die are sinners. That's how you know Kevin is a sinner. Because I can die. Jesus did not have to die. God put him to death. What happened to make God do that? He became what the Bible says. He took my sins payment. I owe God a debt. The payment for that sin, God took it and put it right here. So instead of killing Kevin, God killed Jesus in my place. Did God give Jesus my sin? No. God gave Jesus the penalty, and he had the payment for my sin. And when Jesus stepped in front of me, when God was putting his wrath upon me to kill me, Jesus stepped in front and said, Father, I'll take his punishment. And God said, okay, I'm going to punish you as if you committed all Kevin's sins. And I'm going to let Kevin go free. That's what this passage is saying. The redemption price, the payment that satisfied God, these two words. There's a payment. This is the payment. This right here is God's acceptance of that payment. What's the price? The price is death, blood. So why am I showing you this? Because God is demonstrating that he is righteous, that even though Christ was innocent, God killed him anyway when he voluntarily took on the payment for my sin. That's what made God righteous, or showed that God is righteous. That even though Christ is innocent, when he took on my sin, my payment, God killed him anyway because he's righteous. The soul that sin must die. Because in his patience, now God was able to have patience and pass over the sins that was previously committed. What sins that was previously committed? You got to remember, God is an eternal God. Everything happens in eternity. Him, there's no time. So he's able now to be patient and pass over my sin. What was my first sin? Conception. God should have killed me at the moment of conception. Why? Because that's where I possessed the first sin. I didn't possess the first sin after I came out of my mother and told a lie or had some bad thought. No, friend. The first sin was the fact that I was actually conceived. God should have killed me right then and there. As a matter of fact, he should have killed my mother because she was a sinner and I should have never been born. Pass over the sins that was previously committed. To why? Why would God do such a thing? So that he can demonstrate, there's that word again, at the present time today, that he is in fact righteous. That he and he alone can remain holy and righteous and a just judge, yet justify the one who has faith, the sinner who have faith that this payment and acceptance through Christ is payment for his sin. That's what he's demonstrating.